was the authorship of any of the books called into question at all? Just as today, some people question whether the supposed authors of the books are actually the authors that church history says they are. I would say as far as the early church was concerned, there were no major questions of authorship of any of the books that we just talked about as far as the ones that were accepted in the Muratorian fragment and things like that. Those were all pretty much settled. The books in question of their authorship today are mainly the ones that were left out in most people's canons, like 1st and 2nd Peter and Hebrews. I know Hebrews is one that's often attributed to Paul, and a lot of people have different, because there's no author listed in Hebrews. It doesn't seem to correspond with exactly what Paul wrote. In fact, when I was doing some research on this, a lot of the lists said that they accepted the writings of Paul and Hebrews. So it appeared to be separate from Paul's writings. But as far as the question of authorship goes, I don't think the early church was fooled by or into thinking that it was written by authors when it really wasn't. As I said, pseudepigrapha was common back then, so that was a common literary technique, but they were able to determine pretty easily, I think, which ones were genuine, which one weren't. And that's why those other gospels were rejected. So that would be my initial answer, and I'd be interested to hear what you have to follow up.
Yeah, I would say that most definitely more in Protestantism, they're called into question. I mean, Roman Catholics have a council and they have a dogma. In order to be a Roman Catholic, you have to accept these books. We don't have that in Protestantism really for anything. It's the idea of being able to call into question particular issues. And so Protestants will call into question particular books, like I think it was William Barclay, who was the commentator of the Daily Bible Commentary Series, still the best-selling commentary series that there is. And he rejected the inspiration of 2nd Peter. And there's other people who talk more liberal versions, reject a lot of Paul's letters, like a lot of people accept the book of Galatians and Romans, but don't accept 1st and 2nd Timothy or Titus because the pastoral letter is different. So people do call into question all the time still. That's why things like this are good.